Hey there, welcome to The Uplift. It's a show that lifts you up for at least the next 30 minutes, hopefully even longer than that. You and me as well. We've got a great show for you today, great cast of characters as always. Among them, these. A man wanted a friend to go to Disneyland, and he ended up with an unlikely person going along with him. We'll explain. A couple who saved a man in a wheelchair stuck on train tracks. Now they're getting a big gift for that big rescue. And a woman exploring the depths of the ocean and how she's making history while she does it. Plus, we're celebrating an artist who created work you will definitely instantaneously recognize. Which iconic logo did he design? We'll show you. And Lizzo, you know her. Well, she's making history as well. What she got to do, something no one else has done in 200 years. All that and our heartwarming videos, the ones you gotta see. You're watching The Uplift. Hey there, I am Tony DeCopel. This is The Uplift, and we are going to start exactly where you wish we would. A history-making superstar named Lizzo, well, she just became part of presidential history as well. Caitlin O'Kane has the story.
She's a singer, dancer, businesswoman, and an avid flute player. And now Lizzo is part of presidential history. It all started with an invitation from the Library of Congress. The library is home to the world's largest flute collection, and knowing Lizzo had a love for flutes, her own flute even has its own Instagram, the library invited her to come check out the collection, including a priceless 200-year-old crystal flute that once belonged to President James Madison. She accepted the offer and visited the library while in D.C. for a concert. But of course, one crystal flute stood out. James Madison's flute, gifted to him by Claude Laurent. It's believed only 185 of Laurent's glass flutes exist today. And this one was almost destroyed. When the British invaded Washington, D.C. during the War of 1812, First Lady Dolly Madison saved the flute from the White House. And now, 200 years later, it's having its renaissance. The library even let Lizzo play the flute at her concert. And although she was a tad nervous to hold the delicate instrument,
it's crystal. It's like playing out of a wine. Be patient.
She shared the spotlight with the flute and made history.
Ooh, is right. It's a musical instrument. It's made to be played, and she knows how to play it. All right, to our next story. We previously introduced you to a man named Isaiah Garza. He uses social media for good, performing random acts of kindness for strangers. Well, Garza recently came up with a very creative way to make someone smile. It's kind of his trademark, you might say. Here's CBS Los Angeles' Lauren Posen with more.
You don't know how much I appreciate this. You don't know.
An unforgettable trip to the happiest place on earth.
I thought my life was just about over. You know, I said, I can't do that. And then this Isaiah comes along.
97-year-old veteran William Good lives in Southgate. He didn't know he'd be going to Disneyland. His caretaker answered an ad downtown Los Angeles resident and TikTok creator Isaiah Garza put on Craigslist.
It literally was like something along the lines of college student looking for senior citizen to make smile.
Oh my God.
Nelva Aguilar thought Good would be perfect.
I submitted 2 pictures of him with some shades on and another one with other shades. And then I got a response from him, but I didn't know who he was at all.
She was just like, he's the sweetest human being ever. You're going to love him. And I was like, listen, do not tell him anything.
Garza told her to bring Good to a park. This is what happened next.
I'm sorry to bother you. I've had a really, really rough day. I just wanted to see if you'd be willing to go to Disneyland with me today.
Hey, that's great. You really want to take me? He said, you don't have to worry about nothing. I'm paying for everything. I said, oh my gosh.
Their magical trip has over 1 million views on TikTok.
It just felt so right. When we got on that thing and he was smiling, and I'm like, this is really happening. I look over at him and he's smiling, and I just felt like, oh man, this is perfect.
And started a beautiful friendship between two strangers.
I'm going to remember that the rest of my life.
We got a lot going on in this show. We're also going to mark Hispanic Heritage Month by introducing you to an artist that you may not have heard of, but you will instantly recognize his work. Here's Mary Lee with the story.
His works are bold, striking, imaginative. Carlos Perez David is renowned as a Latino artist. He's in the Mexican-American Hall of Fame. Less known is that he's the guy
instantly it has to say, that's an apple,
who drew what may be the world's most iconic logo, personally approved by Steve Jobs.
If I would have known that Apple would become a $2 trillion company, I would have said, Steve, I'll do your work for free. Just give me some stock.
Throughout the San Francisco Bay Area, you can see Perez David's celebration of his heritage. This mural depicts indigenous cultures. Most of his drawings honor his family.
This is my tia. Very proud. It gave me the life to get me to where I'm at today, right? It gave me that foundation, the roots of myself and my culture.
All in a career both stunning and biting.
Eating from the tree of artistry there, you might say. All right, coming up, meet the history maker who traveled to the deepest part of the ocean. We'll tell you what motivated her to take that journey. Plus our heartwarming videos, the ones you just gotta see. Stick around. We'll be back in a moment. Hey there, welcome back to The Uplift and welcome back to those viral videos, the ones you just gotta see. We stack them up every week, and this one's coming from Brian Tabler. He works at a doggy daycare and he wanted to test his dogs. Take a look.
Let's see what dogs know how to sit at dog daycare today.
Yo, Pistachio, come here, bro. Can you sit? Good job, Pistachio. Hi, Daisy. Can you sit, baby? Daisy, can you sit? No, that's not fine. Whatever. Hey, Lucy, do you want your toy? Can you sit? Sit. Good job. Hey, yo, Dexter, can you sit, bro? Dexter, get down. Sit. Oh, my God, good job. Hey, Lola, you're new here. Can you sit? Good job. Get out of my pocket. Hey, yo, Jerry, what do I have to do to get you to sit, dude? Can you sit? Jerry, sit, bro. Rolo, I thought you guys were practicing at home.
Jerry's not into it. All right, our next video gets into the subject of what it takes to get your seat upgraded on a plane. Brittany D'Angelo said she was waiting for a flight when the gate agent challenged passengers to a dance contest. Best dancer gets that better seat, the upgrade. You're seeing the dance moves there. As you can see, D'Angelo put on her very best, doing the worm, wowing the gate agents, and of course, she won. Okay, I'd give it to her as well. I wouldn't dance for it, but there you go. All right, a family in Plainfield, Illinois started getting ready for Halloween, and they did it a little bit earlier this year. The Apple family, they began decorating their house not on September 1st, not early October, we're talking August 1st. It's all because every year they decided to go big with their Halloween display, but they really did outdo themselves this year with a Stranger Things theme, all of it based on the hit Netflix show. They went viral on TikTok for their decorations, and for one in particular, an illusion that makes it look like Max Mayfield's character is hovering in mid-air. It's not real, it's not a real person, it's just a mannequin, but the Apple family does not want to divulge exactly how they got this effect, so they're not sharing the secret behind how they did it. I approve, I do. All right, coming up, meet the couple who helped save a man stuck on train tracks in a wheelchair. Imagine that. Now they are all being recognized for the steps they took to save a life that day. Plus, what's the story behind this surveillance video that shows an animal walking into a police station? We'll give you the full scoop after the break. pair of Good Samaritans in Boston recently rescued a man whose wheelchair, picture this, was stuck on train tracks. After that life-saving good deed, they all reunited, and they got a big surprise. Here's CBS Boston's Paul Burton.
Nice to meet you. It was a day of surprises and gratitude at Gillette Stadium thanks to the Patriots organization. We first caught up with JT earlier this week in Holbrook after Good Samaritans Matt and Megan Poole rescued him when his old wheelchair got stuck on the tracks of an oncoming train. All he wanted that day was a cup of coffee before the Patriots game. Today, JT's mom thanked the couple.
You saved me and my family a lot of tears from one mother to the next, honey. Thank you so much.
This is when the surprises began for this die-hard Patriots fan.
We wanted to give you guys a private tour of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. And around every turn in the Hall of Fame, JT was filled with joy and laughter. Both families have no idea what's about to happen, but they're about to meet Patriots linebacker and JT's favorite player, Matt Judon.
How you doing? Glad you're here, man.
Judon offered both families tickets to this weekend's home opener versus the Ravens. And if that wasn't enough, with the help of Judon and the mobility equipment recyclers out of Rhode Island, JT was presented with a brand new wheelchair. JT, who's your favorite player again?
Matt Judon. Really not much for me. It's more on these guys that saved them. And, you know, we just kind of heard about the story and just wanted to help out. The Patriots gave them the tickets, and we came up with enough money to get the man a wheelchair and something that would suit him way better.
We knew that he needed bigger tires so he wouldn't get caught in the tracks. We gave him a cup holder so that he can put his Mary Lou's in there.
Somebody's acknowledging the need that we've needed for so long. It relieves us to know that now he's safe.
I'm so happy he has something that not only did he need, but he's got the Cadillac now. He's going to be riding in style.
A simple, kind gesture,
I'm glad you're safe, though,
can go a long way. In Foxborough, I'm Paul Burton, WBZ News.
That's a great story. Reflects well on that whole Boston community. Well done, folks. All right, next up, we're going to introduce you to a student finishing college in Minnesota while his family was back in Ukraine in the middle of the war there. He needed some help, and a Good Samaritan decided to step in. Here's CBS Minnesota's David Schumann with that story.
While Mykola Saprinov worked to graduate from the University of Minnesota, he also watched Russian forces invade his hometown.
It's very difficult because I felt like I had no control. You're feeling really powerless and you feel like you can't really do much.
He needed a place to live, too, before starting his grad studies.
I just jumped on it. It just felt like a gift, and before I knew it, we were connecting, and I was sort of offering him everything I had.
The daughter of Holocaust survivors, Margie felt an immediate affinity for Mykola.
He's such a sweetheart. I mean, you know, I love him now.
Their connection led to something greater, Margie sponsoring Mykola's family to come to America. They're now in Latvia after escaping Ukraine.
I'm excited to know that they're going to be in safety, but it's also, you know, I feel in a way responsible for making sure that this transition is, goes as smooth as possible.
This is where Mykola and his family will move into, a 2-bedroom apartment, university housing. They'll be here in about 3 weeks, and the to-do list to get the place ready is about a mile long.
You need every fork, spoon, sheet, you need everything.
A post asking for donations got an overwhelming response.
When you make a personal connection, everything changes. Because you start to really care. It's not just some cause out there. You start to care. And that brings out something very beautiful in us.
In Minneapolis,
I really hope that they will be able to find themselves here. And as I, found myself here.
David Schumann, WCCO 4 News.
Good people coming together there. Our next video is about a peculiar sight captured by a police department security camera. And I mean a very peculiar sight. Here's CBS Boston's Brand Truitt with this story.
Yeah, he turned himself in. He had had enough. He was ready to go.
You've likely heard of a whale of a tale, and this one involves a seal. The folks in Beverly naming him Schubert after Shoe Pond, where he'd been playing for more than a week. It's just upstream from the mouth of the ocean.
He knew to stay away from the boat, stay away from the nets. He would come close enough that they would get some pretty good pictures of them.
That's Beverly Police Chief John LaLasher. He says on Thursday the real work began to try to get him out, but Schubert kept evading police. By sunset, rescuers called it a night, but the seal had other plans. Police say around 2:30 Friday morning, Schubert got on the move, waddling across a shopping center parking lot, following the fence line to the front door of the police station. Police called in the team at Mystic Aquarium right away.
Yeah, the story just keeps growing.
When the folks for the aquarium got here, they say they were taken aback at first. They recognized some of the markings on Schubert's face. Turns out he is a repeat offender. The aquarium had to rescue him on the Cape back in 2018.
We do know the seal. He's about 4 or 5 years old, and it's come full circle. He is back where he started back then, but we're gonna be releasing him as soon as possible.
Schubert's original name was Jackal, but Sarah Callan with the Mystic Aquarium assures me the name Schubert is here to stay. He's getting a checkup in Connecticut. Callan says he looks healthy and is even getting some time to play. He'll be released back into the ocean this weekend, this time with the GPS tracker.
Luckily, Schubert did us all a favor and brought himself to the police department, which is a story that totally blows my mind still.
A journey through sea, stream, and shopping center parking lot with a playful Schubert ready to go home. In Beverly, Brandon Truitt, WBZ News.
Hey, they're there for help, even if you're a seal. All right, coming up, meet the woman who traveled to the deepest part of the ocean, did not spot Schubert the seal there, but made history on her journey. Stick around, you're watching The Uplift. The Mariana Trench is the deepest spot in any ocean on Earth, and oceanographer Dawn Wright recently explored its depths, making history as she did so. Lee Cowan with the story.
In the waters of the Western Pacific, where the color blue was seemingly born, oceanographer Dawn Wright was a little blue herself.
My mother, she died in December. She wanted to be able to live to see this, but she is watching from heaven.
The next morning, Wright, a specialist in marine geology and geography at the Environmental Systems Research Institute, would take on the challenge of the deepest place on Earth.
I'm actually the first person of any gender of African descent to go to Challenger Deep. No other black person has gone to Challenger Deep.
Challenger Deep. 7 miles beneath the surface, more than 6 times deeper than the Grand Canyon, almost triple the depth of the Titanic. It's been seen by so few. Sinking that far down isn't the problem, of course. It's getting back without being crushed that's the conundrum. And currently, there's only one manned vehicle in the world that can do it.
Coming out!
It's called Limiting Factor, a 2-person submersible that's the brainchild of Texas adventurer and explorer Victor Vescova.
Enjoy it. Thank you.
He personally financed its design and construction.
If it can work here, it can work anywhere on the seafloor.
The trenches in our ocean are largely a watery black hole in terms of research, but these hard-to-reach places do have so much to tell us. The Earth's reaction to climate change, for example, how we can better predict earthquakes and tsunamis. Perhaps even how life began.
Very cool.
Wright's task will be to bring back the first high-resolution mapping of this unforgiving place.
How much of the ocean is mapped currently?
The current number is 23.4% of the global seafloor. Not even a quarter is mapped to sufficient detail.
Last year, the UN pledged to change that, setting a goal to have at least 80% of the seabed mapped by 2030. But one of the best tools to do that is side-scan sonar, and historically, there's always been one big problem.
That environment is so harsh that these sensitive instruments typically can't survive it, but we think we've developed the technology to make that happen.
The only way to know is to go.
Okay.
There is a necessary claustrophobic element to any deep dive. Wright has been sardined into subs so many times that she's even got a nickname, Deep Sea Dawn. But this trip is different.
Even for Deep Sea Dawn, this is extraordinarily deep. She'll be passing through more than 4 times the deepest she's ever been before, and when she gets to the bottom of Challenger Deep, She'll be experiencing more than 100,000 tons of pressure on the outside of that submersible.
Surface, this is the LF. The hatch is secure. Life support is running. I have a green board. I'll get in here.
Soon, the ocean consumed them, as if they were swallowed whole. Wright's love of the ocean started in her home in Maui, where the waves appeared every bit as welcoming as the sea of stars above.
When did you want to be an oceanographer, you think? When did you really want to?
It was at the age of 8, because it was partly fueled by the Apollo 11 mission. If those men could land on the moon, I thought, well, why can't I go the opposite direction and explore the oceans?
But back in the 70s and 80s, there weren't many oceanographers who were women. Fewer still were black.
Were there obstacles when you were coming up, when you were growing up?
All kinds of obstacles. I spent several years at sea as a marine technician, and there were men on the ship that I was on who didn't believe that women should be there. That is a story, an age-old story. It is still an issue.
All of that, though, was about to be eclipsed by her arrival at a place void of judgment and prejudice.
Ooh!
It's the bottom of the ocean, Dawn.
Here it is.
Out of the gloom, there it was.
Surface, LF, depth 10904.
At bottom.
Woohoo!
Congratulations.
Wow, what an image down there.
You're at the bottom of the ocean.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Victor.
Every second at the bottom was revealing, almost too revealing.
What is that?
Ooh, that is artificial.
Humans themselves may be foreign to this landscape, but sadly, our trash is not.
It's a bottle. It's a freaking bottle.
Isn't that something?
It's a bottle.
As soon as we get here.
Not as pure an experience as she'd hoped for, perhaps, but her disappointment soon turned to excitement.
Oh, look at this.
Looking good.
That first-of-its-kind side-scan sonar so many feared would give way under the ocean's unrelenting pressure hummed along as if it was mapping a shallow lake.
Oh, some interesting features.
Most explorers will tell you that there is one constant about pushing the envelope.
Dropping surface weight. Ascending.
And that's that there's never enough time. After 10 hours beneath the land of sunlight, air, and lungs, Deep Sea Dawn resurfaced, returning to the pitching deck of her research vessel where the real work of analyzing her research had now only just begun.
Good
job. That smile on Dawn Wright's face, however, was all for her mom, who always encouraged her to chase her lofty dreams, even if they lay at the bottom of the world.
What do you think your mom would think?
I think my mom would be extremely relieved.
Somewhere high over the deepest spot on Earth, Lee Cowan, CBS News.
And we just brought you to the bottom of the ocean, all in an effort to lift you up. I hope it worked. That is our show. I trust it brightened your day, lifted you up. If it didn't, go ahead and watch it again. Reruns, totally free. I'm going to go find some good news. See you next time.